Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when we must step back from the noise, silence the cravings of the flesh, and tune our spirit to the voice of God. That time is now. That discipline is called fasting. Fasting is not a religious punishment. It is a divine invitation. It's a spiritual key that unlocks dimensions of clarity, power, and purpose. Today, I want to walk you through 8 life-changing benefits of fasting that will transform not just your habits, but your destiny. Fasting acts like a lens that focuses your inner eyes. In the chaos of daily life, your spiritual vision can become blurred by distractions, doubt, and desires. But when you fast, it's like cleaning the windows of your soul. Moses fasted for 40 days and received the 10 commandments. Why? Because when the flesh is silenced, the spirit can hear clearly. When you deny your stomach, your ears open to heaven. Many people are confused about purpose, calling, and direction, not because God isn't speaking, but because they're too full to listen. Empty your plate, and your spirit will feast on revelation. Fasting is not just abstaining from food, it's about breaking chains. That habit you can't shake, that addiction you've hidden for years, fasting has the power to confront it at the root. Isaiah 58:6 says, "Is not this the fast I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke?" One young man addicted to pornography fasted for 21 days. Not only did his cravings diminish, but he later testified of a complete mental reset. His thoughts were purified and his will became stronger. Fasting didn't just suppress his desire, it broke its hold. In a world suffering from anxiety and burnout, fasting provides a powerful internal cleanse, not just of the body but of the mind. Research shows that intermittent fasting boosts brain function, improves mood, and reduces depression. But beyond the science, there's a spiritual release that comes. Elijah, after defeating the prophets of Baal, became depressed and suicidal. But when he fasted and isolated himself, he heard the still small voice of God and found strength again. When you fast, you begin to silence fear, reduce stress, and stabilize your emotions. You align with heaven's peace. If prayer is the language of intimacy, fasting is the amplifier. When you fast, you create room for divine fellowship. Your quiet time becomes more intimate. Your worship becomes more powerful. You stop talking to God and start walking with Him. A woman once shared how during her 3-day fast, she journaled everything God whispered. By the end, she had pages of direction, correction, and comfort. She said it felt like God moved in. That's what happens when you make space. He fills it. Fasting trains the will. If you can say no to a plate of food, you can say no to compromise, to sin, to destructive relationships. Discipline in one area bleeds into others. Your spiritual muscles grow stronger every time you deny your flesh. A businessman, overwhelmed by distractions and procrastination, began to fast once a week. Over time, he noticed his focus at work improved. His time with his family was more intentional, and his productivity doubled. Fasting taught him to control his impulses. There are doors that no resume can open, no connection can unlock, but fasting can. In the book of Esther, the nation was on the brink of genocide. But after fasting for 3 days, Esther found favor before the king and saved her people. Fasting can position you before people of influence. It can unlock contracts, opportunities, and miracles. One man was praying for a breakthrough job for months. During a corporate 7-day fast, he received an unexpected call from a recruiter, and the position exceeded his expectations. Heaven responds when you show heaven you're serious. Have you ever felt like your prayers were hitting the ceiling? Fasting can accelerate the response time. Daniel fasted for 21 days, and though the answer was delayed due to spiritual warfare, the angel told him, "From the first day you set your heart to understand, your words were heard. Sometimes God has already dispatched the answer, but your fasting strengthens the delivery route. It adds power to your prayer life. It's like prayer is the arrow, and fasting is the bow that launches it with force. When you fast, you return to your original design. You stop living by default and begin living by design. Your purpose becomes clearer, your passion returns, you stop chasing what's good and start pursuing what's God. Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his public ministry. Why? Because before he healed the sick, cast out demons, or raised the dead, he needed alignment. Fasting doesn't just prepare you for ministry, it prepares you for destiny. One college student unsure about her future fasted before graduation. During that fast, she received clarity to turn down a high-paying job and launch a non-profit that now feeds thousands. Fasting clarified her mission. Fasting is not about punishment, it's about positioning. It's not about what you lose, but what you gain: clarity, breakthrough, peace, power, purpose. Don't wait for a crisis to fast. Don't wait for tragedy to turn down your plate. Begin today. Start small. Be consistent. Let fasting become a lifestyle, not just an event, because the life God has for you is too great to be blocked by cravings and clutter. Empty your stomach and fill your spirit. Starve the flesh and feed your faith. Fast and see your life forever changed.